whole time Mama was cornrowing my hair, Niecy kept calling me and waving her arms around, trying to make me look at her. After a while,
Despite opening in this age of e-readers, audiobooks, and online shopping, a small bookstore in U City is changing young lives, one story at a time. I See Me African American Children's Bookstore is certainly unique in our city and is having an impact that all started with Jeffrey and Pamela Blair's deepest hopes for their own children.
We always felt that we were the ultimate educators for our children. We wanted to really make sure that our children had a firm understanding about their identity and about their history. And when they're in school or even, on the internet or wherever it may be that we may go to get information, it usually started with slavery and ended with civil rights. So we would talk about historical events, the Ottoman Empire or something like that, and they would be like, well, where were we during that time? And a lot of times, well, I'm not sure. And so it caused us to do some homework, and then when we found information, we had to put it in a child-friendly way. My wife actually writing a couple books, created a couple games as well. And so having that foundation about who they are, a firm positive belief and image in their own mind about themselves and their self-reflection about them and their people, it allowed them to be self-motivated about learning. Teachers, parents sort of saw, their achievements. They said, well, how did you do that? And so we shared it with friends and family, and eventually, it grew into a business. I mean, we opened up the I See Me Children's Bookstore about almost 2 years now. And we wanted to really let some of the successes that we've had with our own children and for our friends and family, for the community, because there's definitely a gap there that we want to fill.
For many African American children and families, I See Me is the oasis that they never fully realized they were searching for.
I actually took Sydney on a surprise visit to I See Me. I heard about it from a friend, and I said, okay, let's go try this out because we've never seen a store solely for African American children. And so I was excited to even have that experience with him. But once we got there, it was much more than what we, expected. It was a lot of love just from the staff, and the books were amazing. There were even books there for me as a parent.
I liked to read before I went to I See Me, but it took it to a whole nother level because I've never seen anything like that before. And it just made me want to read more than I did. So then my reading went up a lot right after that.
As she watched her son have such an overwhelmingly positive reaction, Winnie pulled out her phone and recorded a live video for Facebook.
That went viral. Him reading a book and being captivated by the store went viral.
We said, okay, we need to keep up this momentum. People clearly are excited about this bookstore and they're excited about my son, being excited about reading. How can we, build both of those? And so we met with I See Me. I talked to Sydney, and from that he came up with Books and Bros.
Books and Bros is a reading club for boys between 8 and 12 years old. This is the time in life when, statistically, many African American males stop reading. Sydney's goal for the club is to encourage literacy and friendship. Presenting and fostering a respect for positive male role models is another important aspect of their meetings, with time built in for guest speakers to talk about their careers and answer questions. The club is open to any race and focuses on reading and discussing African American literature and history. Books and Bros events have been hosted by a variety of venues, including the Microsoft Store, Ferguson Youth Initiative, and of course, I See Me.
So many times, we have someone come into the store, mother or grandmother comes with their child, and she doesn't like to read, She's like, I don't want to be here, I want to be at the park. But then when she comes in and she sees every book in there reflecting her, she perks up. So a lot of times, it's not so much that they may not like to read, sometimes they don't like what they're being given to read.
Many members of Books and Bros are experiencing through the club what Sydney did on his first visit to I See Me.
To me, I think that reading is important because it's fundamental, actually. Because once you read and you keep reading, you will understand more. You will understand the world around you, especially if you read nonfiction books.
Jabari Coleman was initially drawn into the club by the fun games the Bros play during their meetings, but soon discovered a love for books about history.
Because of how strong these people were and how much these people went through.
Now we're getting calls from like all over the country, you know, about wanting to really support what's going on and even duplicate it in other places. And that's just from one, that's Sydney. So imagine all the others that we can help cultivate and think, like you said, 5 years, imagine where we can be and the impact we can really have.
I know my principal and a lot of my teachers are saying you've really matured and stuff like that. And like, good job with the book club.
He's more confident speaking in front of others. And now he's talking more about entrepreneurship as his future. And I'm not used to hearing, you know, 11, 10-year-old boys talk about that. And it's a domino effect on the other members as well. Boys who've never talked about entrepreneurship are now saying that they want to start their own business.
How many books do you think you've read in the past year?
Like, just me? That's a hard question. Yeah, let's just say a lot.